2, go.
Hello everyone, and welcome back to our Beth Israel kitchen. Our next holiday coming up is Shavuot. Shavuot combines two major religious observances. First is the grain harvest of the early summer, and second is the giving of the Torah on Mount Sinai 7 weeks after the exodus from Egypt. Shavuot began as an agricultural festival that marked the end of the spring barley harvest and the beginning of the summer wheat harvest. In ancient times, Shavuot was a pilgrimage festival during which the Israelites brought offerings to the temple in Jerusalem. The first fruits of their harvest, such as wheat, barley, dates, figs, grapes, olives, and pomegranates. Dairy foods are also associated with the holiday of Shavuot. Foods are also associated with the holiday of Shavuot. We're used to eating cheesecake, kugel, or blintzes, and that is a reminder of the sweetness of the Torah, and also a reminder that the Torah calls Israel the land of milk and honey. All of the food recipes today will have a dairy component, but we will also taste the wheat, the barley, dates, figs, olives, grapes, and pomegranates in all of the foods and our mocktails and cocktails. So let's get cooking. First dish is a classic noodle kugel. So we have cooked our noodles. We have blended our custard ingredients, which is eggs, sugar, cream cheese, sour cream, and cottage cheese, into our blender. I'm going to give it one more little whirl. And we are going to pour the custard over the noodles. And then we are going to coat them so that all the noodles are covered in the custard. And we have plumped up some yellow raisins. We soaked them in hot water earlier today to let them soften up and plump up a little bit. So we're going to add our raisins in. This is a really easy and quick dish, and it only takes a short time to bake. Okay, so here we have our kugel ingredients, and normally I would bake this in a 13 by 9 pan, but today we're going to do it in muffin tins. This is the way my Nana did it when she made kugel for me. So we're going to take some of the noodles and the custard mixture, and we're going to divide it between 24 muffin tins. And before we bake it, we're going to top it generously with cinnamon and sugar. You can use graham cracker crumbs, crushed up corn flakes, whatever your family traditions are. I really like the cinnamon and sugar because it makes it extra sweet. And I love this. It's rich, it's creamy, it's sweet, and it is delicious. So this is going to bake for about 20 minutes, 25 minutes in the muffin tins. In the 13 by 9 pan, it would bake a little longer. Now we are ready to make our baked fruit. There are so many variations of this, but today we're going to make it with a fig jam, since figs are one of the fruits that we talked about earlier. We're going to take some flour. We're going to dust our surface in our rolling pin. We've got our puff pastry. Actually, we thawed this in the cooler overnight so that it would be ready to roll out. If you going to roll the puff pastry into a square. It usually is a little rectangle shape. We're going to roll it into a square. Next, we're going to take our brie and put it in the middle of the pastry. And we have our fig preserves. I'm going to put it just about like that. Some pecans. You can use any kind of nut that you like. I just happen to love pecans. That's my favorite nut. We're going to drizzle a little bit of honey on top. It's coming out slowly. This This is Texas honey. I like to use local ingredients if possible. We're going to take the pastry and we are going to cover the brie, fold it over, just like a package. And we're just going to smooth the sides all the way around. You might need to tuck some of the pieces under. Just like that. And one other thing that you can do is kind of fun to decorate your brie. One fun way you can decorate your brie is to use some extra puff pastry. We're just going to put it on the top of the brie like that. We have just some little balls. Roll the pastry into like that. And sometimes if I'm making for a party, if I'm making more than one kind of brie, I will mark each one with some sort of a different design so that we're able to tell what we have in there. Okay, so there's that little. And now we're going to transfer the pastry to a sheet pan lined with parchment paper. Now you can also, a way of baking the brie is to put it in a large glass pie pan. So that is another way of doing it. We're going to make an egg wash. And we're going to brush the pastry with the egg wash all the way around. You can freeze this ahead of time. Just wrap it very well in plastic or tight so the air doesn't get in. Do not put the egg wash on though until you're ready to bake your brie. So you want to get in all these little crevices if you have a decoration on there. And the egg wash is going to make it nice and shiny. Painting on the egg wash, you just want to make sure that the egg wash does not puddle around the bottom of the brie. So we're going to bake it in the oven for 25 to 30 minutes. And it will be nice and golden brown. And the one thing too, when your brie comes out of the oven, you want to about 10 to 15 minutes out after it comes out of the oven. That will give the cheese time to firm up a little bit and it will not run all over your serving plate. So remember to do that and you will have a delicious appetizer for your next party and for Cholula if you're having. Our next dish is going to be olives wrapped in cheese pastry. As we talked earlier, the olives are also one of the first fruits of the harvest. So we made a cheese pastry in the food processor, flour, butter, sharp cheddar cheese, and a little cayenne pepper for a little kick. So we made a ball. We are going to take the olive and just put it in the indentation. And we're going to press the pastry all the way around the edges. This was a very popular hors d'oeuvre back in the 50s. People made these all the time. Some today with jalapenos and some with pimento stuffed olives. You could use blue cheese stuffed olives, feta, whatever you like and what your family likes or your friends like. My friends like jalapenos, so we're doing that today. So we made some earlier and we are going to put them in the oven for about 15 to 20 minutes until they are golden brown, and we will have a nice little appetizer. We talked about barley being one of the harvest grains. We're used to having barley in soup, but today we're going to make a salad. We cooked this barley earlier today and I used pearl barley. And you want to cook it in boiling water until it's tender but a little chewy. It has a nice texture. We made a dressing that has olive oil, pomegranate molasses, apple cider vinegar. You could use lemon juice or any other vinegar that you like, cumin, cinnamon, and a little salt and pepper. We put our yellow raisins in here so that they can plump up and absorb that delicious flavor. So we are going to pour that on top. And mix it into the barley so the barley has all that dressing. Pomegranate molasses is tart. It's really good, and I like to use it in salad dressings, and I like to use it in cocktails as well. So we may have some pomegranate molasses in one of our cocktails today, later this afternoon. So we have all of the barley coated with the salad dressing. There's several ways you can do this. You can mix all the ingredients in here together. Our other ingredients are pomegranate seeds, pistachios, green onions, and parsley. So you can mix them all into the barley, or you can just make a pretty little row of all your ingredients, and when you come to the table you can toss them together and your guests can see what is in the salad, and it just makes a nice presentation. Another way to do this, if you're having a cocktail party and you want to have a little salad, you can put these in little shot glasses or little plastic cups and layer the barley with the dressing and the other ingredients on top. This is really delicious. I love all of the foods that are in here. Also going to add feta cheese. You can buy the already crumbled feta cheese. I'm just going to do this in big chunks. So I have a whole feta cheese, whole piece of feta cheese. You can cube it, or you can just break it into big pieces, bigger crumbles, and all this will get tossed into the salad. So we have pomegranates, we have barley, and we have dairy. So here we have our barley and pomegranate salad. This is one of my signature hors d'oeuvres. So now the whole world is going to know my recipe. These are smoked salmon and goat cheese quesadillas. We have a mixture here of goat cheese and whipped cream cheese, along with the zest of a lemon and horseradish and salt and pepper to taste. We are going to spread about a fourth of the recipe onto a tortilla. I like to use an offset spatula as it's easy to spread the mixture on the tortilla. Next, we are going to take a piece of lox or two, depending on the size. We're going to sprinkle on some dill. You can chop the dill, or you can just pull it apart, the fronds apart from the stem. We're going to take another tortilla, and we're going to put it on top and just press down lightly. So we're going to make just a couple of them real quick, and then so now that we have our quesadillas made, we are going to cook them in a little oil. We've got a cast iron skillet with oil. You can also do this on if you have an electric griddle, or if you have a flat top griddle or grill, you can do that as well. We're just going to cook these for a couple of minutes on each side until they get nice and brown. We're going to flip the brie. This is nice and golden brown. And we'll wait until the other side is golden brown, and then we will take it out and continue with our quesadillas until all of our mixture is used up. Have our quesadilla. We're going to let it sit just for a minute so that the cheese can firm up just a little bit. And when we get finished, we will take either a sharp knife or you can use a pizza cutter, and we'll cut it into 6 triangles. And there you'll have your smoked salmon and goat cheese quesadillas. And there you have it. Goat cheese. Time for dessert. So today we have cheesecake pops. This is really fun to do with your kids. And it's a dish, though, that you have to prepare ahead of time. We made our cheesecake 2 days ago. You want to make sure that it's nice and cold and firm. And then yesterday we made the pops and put them back in the freezer with the popsicle stick. So now we are going to dip it in coating chocolate. You can use, there's different kinds of coating chocolate. There's white chocolate, there's dark, and there's milk chocolate. So we'll just let the excess drip back into the chocolate. I mix the chocolate with a little bit of virgin coconut oil. You can use shortening as well. And the reason I use the virgin coconut oil is it doesn't have the coconut flavor. So these are toffee chips. We have some other ones that we will show you later that we did with sprinkles, with chocolate sprinkles, with graham cracker crumbs. So there are all kinds of things that you can do, and this is fun. Kids can dip in the chocolate and roll in their favorite. We did favorite ingredients. We also did some chopped up peppermint. So it's just fun to have a variety of cake pops. And then once they're all done, you can put them in the refrigerator for overnight, up to 24 hours. And have a little cake pop treat. And of course, cheesecake is one of our notable dishes for Shavuot. This chocolate, you can get it at the grocery store. You can also get it at stores that have cake decorating supplies. Some of them you can buy that are, the chocolate is colored already. If you have a particular theme going and you want to use pink and blue for a baby shower or anything like that, you can find the colored chocolate coatings at cake decorating stores. And there we go. I'm going to run these to the walk-in cooler so they can be ready for our party. I baked our cheesecake 2 days ago, and I used the batter recipe that we have in our recipe book. You can use any of your own favorite cheesecake recipes, and you do not need to cook it in a crust. Or you can buy a frozen one from the grocery store. The only thing I would not suggest is to use a no-bake cheesecake recipe, because the cheesecake, even though it's firm in the cooler refrigerator, it will not have the structure it needs to form it into the pops. So that's a good hint. Remember that when you're making your cheesecake or buying a cheesecake from the grocery store.